Among the crowd was 32-year-old Caleb Brooks, a security officer who had been on the job for nearly 6 years. He had seen it all: lost luggage, flight delays, frustrated passengers. But this morning would be different. What would you do if a simple act of kindness led you into a tangled web of mystery and deception? Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, today's story is far more real. And it all started with one man, one stranger, and one fateful encounter that changed everything. Before we dive into this gripping tale, let us know in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you enjoy stories filled with mystery, compassion, and justice, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The sun was just beginning to rise over Westbridge International Airport. Travelers pulled their suitcases along the shiny tiled floors, announcements echoed from the PA system, and the soft hum of airport life filled the air. As Caleb Brooks patrolled the arrivals hall, his gaze shifted toward a figure sitting quietly on a cold metal bench. It was an elderly man, perhaps in his 80s, dressed sharply in a navy blue suit with a bright red tie. In his hands, he clutched a bouquet of fresh roses, their petals still dewy as if they had been picked that very morning. Beside him lay a small carry-on bag. The man sat with an air of calm patience, his eyes scanning the crowd with hopeful expectation. Something about him felt off, not threatening, but peculiar. Caleb had seen passengers waiting for loved ones before, but something about this man felt different. "Morning, sir," Caleb greeted, pausing near the bench, waiting for someone special. The old man looked up with a warm smile, his eyes kind but tired. "Yes, my granddaughter. She's coming home after 5 long years. She promised she'd be on this flight." He glanced at his watch, tapping it nervously. "Flight 297. It should have landed by now, right?" Caleb glanced at the arrival board. No flight 297, at least not today. His instincts kicked in. "Are you sure it's flight 297, sir? I don't see it on the board." The old man's face shifted from confidence to uncertainty. It was 297, I'm sure of it." "Let me double-check for you," Caleb said, his voice steady but alert. He walked to his desk and pulled up the airport system. No flight 297, no scheduled arrival at all. This was the first red flag. The hours ticked by. Caleb continued his rounds but found himself checking back on the old man every so often. Noon came and went. The man hadn't moved. The bouquet was starting to droop. Caleb's heart sank. By 4 p.m., he approached the man again. "Sir, I'm starting to get a little worried. Are you sure your granddaughter's coming? Maybe I can call someone for you." The man hesitated, his smile fading. "She told me she'd be here. We've been talking every day for months. She said she had to fly from overseas, and she'd need a little help to cover her baggage fees." Caleb's heart stopped for a second. Baggage fees? His eyes narrowed, his mind flashing with warning signs. He'd seen this before. "Did she ask for money, sir?" Caleb's voice was firm but gentle. The old man's eyes darted to his lap. His hands gripped the bouquet a little tighter. "Yes," he admitted quietly, "but she's family. Family helps family, right?" Caleb felt a pang of anger, not at the man, but at the person who had taken advantage of him. A scam. A cruel, heartless scam. "Sir," Caleb said, kneeling next to him, looking him directly in the eye. "I think you've been targeted by scammers. I've seen this before. People online pretend to be family or long-lost friends. They ask for money, promise to meet you, but they never come." The old man shook his head violently. No, you're wrong. She sent me pictures. We talked. She told me about her life, her struggles." Tears welled in his eyes. "Her name is Riley. She wouldn't lie to me. She wouldn't." Caleb took a deep breath, steadying himself. "I know you want to believe her, sir, but scammers are good at what they do. They make you feel seen, loved, and understood. It's how they get good people to do things they wouldn't normally do." Silence. The man's breathing was shallow, his grip on the roses finally loosened. "I sent her $7,000, he said in a broken whisper. "Everything I had left." Caleb's jaw tightened. He placed a hand on the man's shoulder. "Let me help you, sir. We can report it to the police, file a case, and get you some support. But first, I need you to promise me something." The old man looked up, his eyes hollow and wet. "What's that?" Caleb's voice was calm but commanding. "Promise me you'll never send another dollar to anyone you haven't met in person." A long pause, then with a heavy sigh, the man nodded. "I promise." The next day, something extraordinary happened. The old man returned to the airport, but this time, Caleb wasn't alone. 2 officers from the cybercrimes unit stood with him, ready for action. The scammers had sent one final message, claiming that Riley would arrive at the airport's north exit. But instead of Riley, 2 men approached the entrance, scanning the crowd with darting, suspicious eyes. They weren't looking for family. They were looking for prey. The moment they spotted the old man, their faces lit up. They moved toward him, one of them reaching for his phone. "Gotcha," Caleb said, tapping his radio. "Officers, move in." Within seconds, the 2 men were in handcuffs, struggling against the firm grip of the officers. Caleb stepped forward, his eyes cold as steel. "That's for every grandparent you've stolen from." One of the scammers sneered, but his smirk faded as he realized he wasn't getting out of this one. The officers led them away. Caleb turned to the old man, who was watching with disbelief and quiet relief. "They're not going to hurt anyone else, sir," Caleb assured him. "Not on my watch." As the airport returned to its usual rhythm, the old man reached into his pocket and pulled out a single, still fresh rose from the bouquet. He handed it to Caleb. "For you, son," he said with a grateful smile. "You saved more than just my money today." Caleb accepted it, his heart full. "You deserve better, sir. And from now on, you'll get it." What would you do if you were in Caleb's position? Would you step in to help? Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can spark the biggest changes. If you found this story as powerful as we did, please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories that reveal the hidden kindness in the world, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one.